This week on HomeKit News, the ZemiSmart roller shade motor with Matter. So today's product is from ZemiSmart and it's their Smart Matter roller shade motor. So as you can gather, this is Matter compatible. If you're not aware of Matter, it simply means that the device will work with all these main systems to the side here with just the one certification, as well as having local, not cloud control. This motor is designed to work for roller shades, but will also work with zebra shades as well as Shangri-La shades. It's not designed for Venetian blinds, however. Here are some specs now, so pause the video if required, and this is the less powerful of the two models, both of which connect to your smart home via Matter over Wi-Fi, so no thread in this instance, which I'd love to have seen. It's permanently powered, will work on any voltage standard, and comes with a remote control. As it uses Matter over Wi-Fi, it uses standard 2.4 GHz for widest compatibility. Okay, so there's a fair bit in the box. We have the motor itself, which we'll look at more closely in a bit, an end cap for your roller tube, a pair of brackets to fit the shades to a wall or ceiling, a small manual in English, 2 screws and roll plugs which are for use with the cradle that holds the remote control, although there's also a double-sided sticker for this, and finally the remote control itself, which is actually quite important, as you'll see later. If we look closer at the motor now, you can see it comes with 2 wires, live and neutral, so this doesn't contain a battery as such. There's a small external box that contains the Matter over Wi-Fi chip, along with the Matter QR code, and lastly a small wire that allows the remote control to communicate directly with the motor. Now, even though you might not use this remote, you will need it initially to set up the motor for lower and upper limits for your blinds, so don't throw it away. When it comes to the motor, this is designed to simply slip inside your existing roller tubes. This motor can fit tubes between 36 to 38 mm in diameter, and once the motor is secured inside the roller tube, you just have to fit the end cap like so. Once that's done, you just need to fit the brackets, replacing your existing ones. For this video, I've temporarily fitted the blinds and I've already paired the remote to the motor, so I just need to get it into HomeKit, which is thankfully as easy as adding a standard HomeKit device. You first have to get the motor into pairing mode, which requires 3 quick pushes on the small function button seen here, after which the motor will jog once. With that done, you then simply follow the same steps as you would any HomeKit device by selecting Add Accessory, scan the code, follow the usual steps and you're done. This is one reason I like Matter when it comes to HomeKit, as the experience is essentially the same. Although the motor is now in HomeKit, you do need to set the upper and lower limits before it'll function, so this is where the remote control becomes very important. With the remote paired to the motor, which is easy enough, you just need to set the upper and lower limits. Now I'll move the motor into the upper or open limit using the up and stop buttons, and once set I just press the function button on the remote followed by the up button, and then the upper limit is set. I then just need to do the same with the lower limit using the down button and stop buttons along with the function button. Previously you would have set the upper and lower limits in the Toya app, which thankfully is no longer required due to Matter. With the limits now set, you can see that the blinds work directly in HomeKit without any third-party app requirements, which is great, although when it comes to updates we'll have to see what happens. You can now see the motor functioning in the Home app, and even though I'm not a massive fan of Wi-Fi devices, it is surprisingly responsive, which is hard to complain about. Now, so far in my tests, this responsiveness has been consistent, which is quite reassuring. Being a Matter device, it should work not just with different platforms but multiple ones at once, so I had to put this to the test. For this I was using the SmartThings station, a Google Nest Mini, an Echo Dot 5 and a HomePod Mini. HomeKit was first and that was easy. I then added it to SmartThings using a brand new code in the Home app, and after a couple of failed attempts it did finally connect. From there, adding it to Google was easy, although I had to initially use an Android phone to do so. The one platform that failed every time, unfortunately, was Amazon, and I'm not sure why. Even after deleting and resetting the motor, I was unable to get it into Amazon on Android or iOS. So here are screenshots of the motor in the 3 successful platforms along with their respective controls. If I show you the motor in the Home app, then switch to SmartThings, you can see it there. I'll then switch to Google Home, and on this occasion I'll set the blinds to 66%. Now if I switch back to SmartThings, you can see that after a few seconds the position has updated to 66% here too. If I then go back to HomeKit, you can see the status soon updates there as well. Quickly onto the pros and cons, and I have to admit it's a little bit of a mixed bag, although for the most part the blame doesn't lie with ZemiSmart as such. So it's good to see another Matter device hit the shelves, and also good that a company like ZemiSmart are seeing the positive reasons to go down this road, so that's a plus. When it comes to price, if you're really on a budget and want to keep your existing blinds, this is possibly the cheapest option right now. As it uses Matter, there's no longer any need to use the Toya app, so one less account to tie in with, which also makes the device work totally locally. When it comes to batteries versus a wired connection, the main issue for some would be getting it to reach an outlet, unless they ran it off wiring from the ceiling, for example, which brings me to the cable, which is a little on the short side. The only negative is also for Matter, strangely enough, which from my experience so far is still more complex than it needs to be for people who use more than one platform. Ordinarily, there's always going to be a chance of someone having an Android phone in the family as opposed to an iPhone, so multi-platform functionality needs to be improved in my opinion, which I think could also be the root cause of me not being able to add it to Amazon. All in all, it's a good effort from ZemiSmart if you're looking to make your blinds smart but don't have the cash for custom blinds, or simply like what you already have. So that's our brief overview of the ZemiSmart roller shade motor with Matter. If there's something I missed or you have further questions, drop them below and I'll do my best to answer them. Please do like, share and subscribe, and until the next time, stay safe. And remember, jazz is not dead, it just smells funny.